Welcome to English Practice Every Day. In today's vocabulary practice video, we will learn and practice 12 words at the upper intermediate. Upper intermediate meaning B2 plus level. After practicing, we will read a short story aloud that uses all these words, helping us understand how to use them in context. Let's start. Please speak out loud with me as we practice. 1. Incur. Incur. Incur is a verb. Incur means to bring upon oneself, especially something unpleasant or unwelcome. Incur means to bring upon oneself, especially something unpleasant or unwelcome. Amy incurred medical expenses after the accident. If you don't pay your bills on time, you may incur late fees. By speaking rudely, Joe incurred the anger of his colleagues. The company incurred heavy losses due to poor management. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word incur? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 2. Pliant. Pliant. Pliant is an adjective. Pliant means easily bent or flexible, or easily influenced or controlled. Pliant means easily bent or flexible, or easily influenced or controlled. The artist used pliant materials to create the sculpture. Liz has a pliant attitude, which makes her easy to work with. The young tree was pliant enough to withstand strong winds. The government hoped the pliant media would support its policies. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word pliant? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 3. Cajole. Cajole. Cajole is a verb. Cajole means to persuade someone to do something by flattery or gentle urging. Cajole means to persuade someone to do something by flattery or gentle urging. Tom cajoled his little brother into sharing his candy. Beth managed to cajole her friend into going on the trip. Despite her protests, Leo cajoled Mia into giving the speech. The salesperson tried to cajole me into buying the expensive watch. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word cajole? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 4. Chasm. Chasm. Chasm is a noun. Chasm means a deep opening in the earth, rock, or another surface, or a large difference between viewpoints or groups. Chasm means a deep opening in the earth, rock, or another surface, or a large difference between viewpoints or groups. A deep chasm separated the two mountains. The political chasm between the two parties continued to widen. There is a chasm between the rich and the poor in many countries. The earthquake created a chasm in the road, making it impassable. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word chasm? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 5. Urban. Urban. Urban is an adjective. Urban means polite, refined, and confident, especially in social situations. Urban means polite, refined, and confident, especially in social situations. Sam was an urban gentleman with impeccable manners. The urban diplomat handled the tense situation smoothly. The host's urban personality made all the guests feel comfortable. Zoe spoke with an urban tone, making her seem very sophisticated. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word urban? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 6. Petulant. Petulant. Petulant is an adjective. Petulant means easily annoyed and complaining in a childish way. Petulant means easily annoyed and complaining in a childish way. The petulant child pouted when he didn't get his way. Jane grew petulant when she had to wait for her food. The actor's petulant behavior backstage upset the crew. Ben's petulant remarks annoyed everyone in the meeting. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word petulant? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 7. Censure. Censure. Censure is both a verb and a noun. As a verb, censure means to strongly criticize someone, especially in an official or public manner. As a verb, censure means to strongly criticize someone, especially in an official or public manner. As a noun, censure means formal disapproval or condemnation. As a noun, censure means formal disapproval or condemnation. The senator was censured for violating ethics rules. The company faced censure for its environmental practices. Zach's rude comments led to public censure from his colleagues. The teacher censured the student for his inappropriate behavior. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word censure? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 8. Impotent. Impotent. Impotent is an adjective. Impotent means lacking power or ability, or unable to take effective action. Impotent means lacking power or ability, or unable to take effective action. The medicine left him feeling weak and impotent. The team's impotent performance disappointed their fans. The security guards were impotent against the armed robbers. The government felt impotent in the face of the economic crisis. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word impotent? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 9. Lacerate. Lacerate. Lacerate is a verb. Lacerate means to deeply cut or tear something, especially flesh, or to criticize harshly. Lacerate means to deeply cut or tear something, especially flesh, or to criticize harshly. The broken glass lacerated my hand. Eve's harsh words lacerated Jack's feelings. The dog's claws lacerated the fabric of the sofa. The critic lacerated the author's new book in his review. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word lacerate? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 10. Dalliance. Dalliance. Dalliance is a noun. Dalliance means a brief involvement in something, often without serious commitment, or a casual romantic relationship. Dalliance means a brief involvement in something, often without serious commitment, or a casual romantic relationship. Ivy's dalliance with painting lasted only a few months. Eva regretted her dalliance with the charming stranger. Paul had a brief dalliance with politics before switching careers. Our dalliance was short-lived, as we soon went our separate ways. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word dalliance? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 11. Subjugate. Subjugate. Subjugate is a verb. Subjugate means to bring under control or domination, especially by force. Subjugate means to bring under control or domination, especially by force. Anna refused to be subjugated by social expectations. The empire sought to subjugate neighboring territories. The invaders subjugated the native people and took their land. The dictators subjugated the citizens through fear and oppression. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word subjugate? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. 12. Aberration. Aberration. Aberration is a noun. Aberration means a departure from what is normal, usual, or expected. Aberration means a departure from what is normal, usual, or expected. The sudden snowstorm in June was an aberration. Losing the game was an aberration for the undefeated team. The scientists dismissed the result as an aberration in the data. Hank's rude behavior was an aberration from his usual polite self. Can you think of a situation where you would use the word aberration? Try making a sentence and write in the comments. That's the end of the practice session. Let's now read out loud a short story using all these words in a proper context. Title of the story: The Tale of Verona's Divide. In the heart of the urban city of Verona, life was a mix of luxury and struggle. The wealthy lived in grand mansions while the poor worked tirelessly in the shadows. A deep chasm had formed between these two worlds, and the government seemed impotent in its attempts to bridge it. Their inability to act incurred the censure of the public, who grew more frustrated by the day. One evening, a petulant politician named Marcus stood on a stage in the city square. He was known for his dalliance with controversial policies and his pliant nature, which made him easily swayed by powerful interests. Marcus tried to cajole the crowd into supporting his new reforms. "My friends," he began, his voice smooth and persuasive, "these changes will bring prosperity to all." But the people were not convinced. A sharp-tongued journalist named Clara stood at the front of the crowd. She had lacerated Marcus's reputation in a recent article, calling his actions an aberration from the values he once claimed to uphold. "Your reforms only help the rich," she shouted. "You've done nothing to subjugate the greed of the elite." Marcus frowned, his urban demeanor faltering for a moment. He had not expected such resistance. "I understand your anger," he said, trying to regain control, "but we must work together to heal this chasm." The crowd murmured, but Clara was not done. "You've incurred the people's distrust," she said. "Your pliant nature makes you a puppet of the wealthy. How can we trust you to lead?" Marcus felt a wave of frustration. He had always prided himself on his ability to cajole and persuade, but this crowd was different. They saw through his charm. "I'm not your enemy," he insisted. "I want to help." But the people had heard enough. They began to disperse, leaving Marcus alone on the stage. He felt a sense of impotence wash over him. Despite his efforts, he could not subjugate the growing dissent. Later that night, Marcus sat in his office, staring at the city lights. He thought about Clara's words. Was he truly an aberration from the leader he had promised to be? He had always believed his urban charm and pliant nature were strengths, but now he wondered if they were weaknesses. The next morning, Marcus decided to take a different approach. He called a meeting with Clara and other community leaders. "I want to hear your ideas," he said. "How can we bridge this chasm?" Clara remained skeptical but agreed to speak. "You must stop trying to cajole us with empty promises," she said. "We need real action. The wealthy must pay their fair share, and the poor must have access to education and health care." Marcus listened carefully. For the first time, he realized that his dalliance with power had blinded him to the needs of the people. "You're right," he admitted. "I've been too focused on maintaining my image, but I want to change." Over the following weeks, Marcus worked tirelessly to implement new policies. He allocated funds to improve schools and hospitals in poor neighborhoods. He imposed stricter taxes on the wealthy and used the revenue to support small businesses. The people began to notice his efforts, and the chasm between the classes slowly started to close. Clara, too, noticed the change. She wrote a new article, this time praising Marcus for his willingness to listen and act. "He has proven that even the most petulant leaders can change," she wrote. "His actions are no longer an aberration, but a step toward a better future." Marcus felt a sense of pride as he read the article. He knew there was still much work to be done, but he was no longer impotent in the face of the city's problems. He had learned that true leadership was not about cajoling or manipulating, but about listening and acting with integrity. As the sun set over Verona, Marcus stood once again in the city square. This time, the crowd cheered as he spoke. "We have bridged the chasm," he said, his voice filled with hope. "Together, we will build a city where everyone can thrive." And so the urban city of Verona began to heal, one step at a time. End of story. That's all for this vocabulary practice session. Try incorporating these 12 words into your conversations this week to reinforce your learning. Bye for now.